it's just it's really crazy to think that this is like the last 4 pages of his whole fishing career.
Josh Harris's journey is a saga of unyielding tenacity, a powerful familial inheritance, and the sheer, unwavering will required to survive one of the most brutal jobs on Earth. His arc from a child learning the ropes from his father on the Bering Sea to the ultimate position as skipper of the Cornelia Marie on the hit Discovery Channel show Deadliest Catch is both inspirational and harrowing. But then, Discovery's recent announcement, Josh Harris, is out. The news sent a shockwave through the fan base. What exactly happened? Why was he dismissed? And what does this stunning development mean for the future of Deadliest Catch? Stay tuned as we dive deep into the real reasons for his sudden exit. For years, Josh Harris was a core player, navigating treacherous waters alongside his father, the legendary Captain Phil Harris. Phil, a dynamic and iconic figure in the crab fishing industry, introduced the world to the Harris family on Deadliest Catch a decade ago. When Phil tragically passed away following a stroke in 2010, the viewers were devastated, and Josh was left with monumental shoes to fill. Yet he persevered, earning his captain's license in 2013 and taking the helm of the Cornelia Marie. Committed to upholding his father's legacy, Josh, backed by a seasoned crew, was charting his own course. By the fall of 2022, Josh seemed to be a man with unlimited opportunity, solidifying his status as one of the most recognizable stars in the history of Deadliest Catch. Audiences were captivated by his fearless leadership and impressive fishing acumen. But why has his removal affected the fans so profoundly? Josh wasn't just another captain. His story was compellingly personal, a son fighting to carry on his family's legacy in one of the world's most perilous professions. Fans watched his transformation from a greenhorn deckhand to a respected leader, cheering him on through every trial. While the audience rooted for him, Josh was grappling with personal demons far beyond the high seas. His life, which seemed so full of promise, began to crumble as his past, a terrible deed committed as a young adult, was unearthed. Now, without further delay, let's confront the true reason Josh Harris was dismissed from Deadliest Catch. While nothing is ever certain, it's a safe bet you won't see Josh on a reality TV show again. What colossal failure could lead to a beloved star of a top-rated reality show being instantly exiled and banished? The decision to fire Josh Harris was not rash. It was directly linked to the re-emergence of an almost 20-year-old court incident from his background. In 2022, information surfaced concerning a legal matter that occurred nearly 2 decades earlier. Following these allegations, Discovery was forced to reevaluate his role on the show. These legal claims, which had significant ramifications and raised serious public concern, put Discovery in a tough spot. As a family-friendly network with a massive audience and a reputation to protect, they had to decide if Josh's history aligned with their network standards and values. The Deadliest Catch community has endured more than its share of heartbreak. From the shocking murder of young producer Joseph McMahon in 2015 to the sudden cardiac arrest death of fan-favorite Captain Tony Lara that same year. Just 3 years later, Captain Blake Painter, adored by many, died at the young age of 38, likely due to substance abuse. The tragic losses continued into 2020 with the deaths of Dean Mellon Reese and fisherman Nick McGlashan, who also lost his battle with addiction at 33. These painful losses have left an indelible mark on everyone who knew them. Amidst these turbulent years, Josh made a courageous choice in 2017 to step back from Deadliest Catch, prioritizing his personal well-being. This hiatus allowed him to confront and overcome struggles he had been suppressing. His bond with fishing, however, began in his youth, learning the craft from his father, Phil. As he matured, Josh honed his skills, constantly striving to improve and innovate his techniques. Determined to honor his father's legacy, Josh eagerly stepped into Phil's boots. repeatedly exceeding the high expectations placed upon him. Over the years, Josh won fans' hearts, appearing in 184 episodes of Deadliest Catch, establishing himself as a fan favorite due to his unbreakable spirit and remarkable skill on the high seas. He returned to the show stronger, only to be met with this crushing challenge. Adding to the complexity, Josh and his longtime partner, Jenna Bullis, share a daughter, Kinsley, born in 2013. The fact that he has a young child made the 2022 revelations all the more tragic and shocking. Josh Harris's involvement with Deadliest Catch shifted dramatically after the alarming information about his 1998 incident was made public. It was disclosed in a now-deleted Reddit thread that Harris was arrested in 1999 after being found guilty of inappropriate and unlawful behavior involving a minor. The allegations stemmed from a horrible crime he committed against a young girl in July 1998. Specifically, Josh Harris was accused of inappropriately touching a young girl, reportedly a neighbor and the daughter of a deckhand, essentially a family friend. The victim told her mother, who directly reported the allegations to the police. Though evidence was collected at the scene, Josh was not formally arrested until 1999. A search warrant was issued on March 25, 1999, and a crime lab confirmed that Josh's DNA was found. Following his arrest, Josh was placed under house confinement with his father and stepmother. He was prohibited from interacting with the victim or any minor under 12 without adult supervision. The fact that he was confined with his famous father complicates many fans' feelings. It suggests the renowned captain was aware of his son's troubled past, yet allowed him to appear on a show beloved by millions. The moral ramifications of this are undoubtedly debatable. Josh pled guilty on July 14, 1998, stating, "I made physical contact with the victim that would have caused discomfort to a normal person. I talked to her inappropriately about subjects that weren't acceptable for her age. One of my goals was to satisfy my own wishes." According to Washington state court documents, Harris served a 9-month sentence and participated in therapy to better understand and control his affectional and social tendencies. From Discovery's perspective, Josh Harris's termination was not a choice made lightly. While the network has been mostly silent, one brief remark made their stance clear. "We are aware of this problem. Though they haven't publicly discussed the case specifics, the decision that Josh will not be appearing in any future episodes speaks volumes." Shortly after the news broke, a page not found message appeared on Discovery's website for the spin-off, Deadliest Catch, Bloodline. The network knew how critical he was to the program and how disappointed fans would be. However, they felt they had no alternative after the recent revelations. The Discovery team realized that retaining Josh would likely lead to criticism from advertisers and the general public. For a family-friendly network, the accusations themselves presented a significant public relations crisis. Josh's departure demonstrates Discovery's commitment to moral principles, even at the cost of losing one of their biggest stars. Not only did his exit rock Discovery, but it hit the entire Deadliest Catch fan base hard. Many were shocked, confused, and even enraged. Fans who had followed his personal struggle felt a genuine connection to his story. Social media exploded with reactions. Some praised Discovery's choice, while others felt Josh should have been given a second chance. The entire event has ignited a broader discussion about accountability, redemption, and forgiveness. It is unclear how the channel will handle the numerous past episodes in which Josh Harris appeared. Retroactively editing Harris out of a show where he was so prominent would be a colossal undertaking. He was also recently featured in Deadliest Catch, Bloodline, so it's certain he won't be in the spin-off moving forward. But will the flagship show continue without him? Harris himself has gone silent, posting nothing on social media since the summer of 2022, just before his dark past finally caught up to him. What about the franchise? Even after learning the truth about one of their favorite stars, fans are sticking with the show. The future of the Cornelia Marie is now unknown. Josh co-captained the yacht with Casey McManus, and while McManus may remain in charge, things won't feel the same without the Harris family. Fans are desperate to know if the iconic boat will remain a fixture on the show or disappear under a new captain. The crab trip will undoubtedly be different without Josh. The show will adapt and grow, but many viewers will miss the bond they shared with the Harris family's history. After all, Deadliest Catch is about more than just captains. It's about the danger, the camaraderie, and the adventure of life at sea. How did this all start? Raised in Seattle, Washington, Josh was immersed in fishing culture from an early age. His father, Phil Harris, was a revered and respected crab fisherman. Phil was considered one of the toughest captains in the Alaskan crab fishing industry, known for his charisma, no-nonsense attitude, and extraordinary work ethic. Josh grew up with a deep appreciation for his father's passion for the water, seeing fishing not just as a job, but as a way of life. He felt an immense pride and admiration for his father, knowing he wanted to be like Phil someday. However, Phil was reluctant to introduce his sons to fishing, fully aware of the risks, the brutal working conditions, the long hours, and the inherent dangers of crab fishing in the icy Bering Sea. Nonetheless, Josh's determination to prove himself only intensified as he got older. Josh didn't jump into fishing immediately. He struggled initially to find his own path as a young man, trying various jobs and hobbies. Yet he was always drawn back to crab fishing by his connection to the water and a sense of duty to his father's history. He eventually joined his father aboard the Cornelia Marie, a legendary vessel in the Alaskan crab fleet and a central character in Deadliest Catch. As a novice, or greenhorn, Josh had to learn the hard way. Every day was a trial of resilience, mental fortitude, and physical strength in the harsh Bering Sea conditions. But Josh was committed to showing his father he could handle the grueling work. He eventually mastered the techniques, from carrying gear to setting pots, and began to understand the uncompromising rhythm of marine life. Working on the Cornelia Marie, Josh observed his father's leadership firsthand. Phil, a tough captain, was famous for pushing his crew to their limits while simultaneously showing a deep loyalty to them. Phil's relationship with his men was complicated. He treated them with respect and camaraderie, but expected tenacity and hard work. Josh saw this leadership style as a template for the captain he hoped to become. When the Discovery Channel launched Deadliest Catch in 2004, it introduced viewers to the brutal reality of Alaskan crab fishing, sharing the stories of the captains and crews with a global audience. Captain Phil Harris's candid demeanor and intense love for his family and boat made him an instant fan favorite. As Phil's sons and crew members, Josh and his brother Jake, gained notoriety, and viewers watched them navigate the challenges of one of the world's most hazardous occupations. Disaster struck in 2010 when Phil suffered a severe stroke while at sea. Though he briefly seemed to be recovering after being evacuated to a hospital, he died shortly after. Phil's death devastated the Harris family, the Deadliest Catch community, and its fan base. Josh lost a mentor and a friend, and he was suddenly tasked with continuing his father's legacy, a role for which he was not fully prepared. Following Phil's passing, Josh found himself at a crossroads. While he could have walked away from fishing, he felt an obligation to honor his father. In the years that followed, Josh dedicated himself to taking over the Cornelia Marie and maintaining his father's dream. This journey, however, proved difficult on both an emotional and financial level. Transitioning from a crew member to a captain was a massive undertaking. Josh had to prove himself not only to the crew, but to the viewers and other veteran captains. He faced a steep learning curve, trying to manage both the leadership and business aspects of crab fishing. Leading the Cornelia Marie was a struggle, given the financial pressure of maintaining the boat, hiring a crew, and ensuring successful catches each season. Josh faced criticism, with some doubting his ability to carry on his father's legacy. Yet, he tackled every season with tenacity, slowly gaining leadership experience, overcoming financial hurdles, and gradually earning the respect of his crew and the audience. A key choice was adding seasoned fisherman Casey McManus as his co-captain. McManus's expertise and consistent presence helped Josh grow as a leader, enabling him to manage the boat more skillfully. With perseverance, failures, and successes, Josh slowly built his own name. Audiences followed his story of struggle, change, and growth, cheering him on as he fought to keep the Cornelia Marie afloat. Josh's voyage was about more than just fishing. It was about forging his identity and proving he could continue his father's tradition. Josh faced continual pressures. He was under immense personal and financial stress to live up to his father's reputation and keep the Cornelia Marie profitable. He also had to cope with the pressures of fame. Being a reality TV star brought public expectations and scrutiny. His fans loved his perseverance, but were quick to point out any missteps, adding to his burden to perform. Even with the recent revelations complicating his story, his fans are reminded that Josh is a human being, wrestling with the demands of a public career and the weight of his family's heritage. Josh Harris has a compelling and nuanced narrative. He learned leadership through hardship, was thrust into a demanding industry, and grew up idolizing his father. His decision to take over the Cornelia Marie was a testament to his love for his father and his commitment to upholding the family history. He has seen highs and lows, but his drive and perseverance have sustained him. Ultimately, Josh's story is a tribute to the power of fortitude and the enduring impact of familial ties. Despite the controversies and disappointments, he remains a part of the Deadliest Catch story and the Alaskan crab fishing heritage. For fans, his dismissal raises a difficult question. How much should one's history dictate their future? But it also serves as a sharp reminder of the responsibilities placed on public figures and the potential repercussions of past actions. Discovery's decision, though painful for many fans, shows how the industry is evolving. Transparency and accountability are now non-negotiable, and networks are more aware than ever of the message they send. While it's a difficult situation overall, it highlights the values our society is moving toward. What comes next for Deadliest Catch? The departure of a figure as significant as Josh has undoubtedly left a void. But if this show has taught us one thing, it's that these crews are resilient.